On the cutting edge of anomaly research, you are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, E.W. Gannett.
Well, hi there, and welcome to episode 128 of The Evidence. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D, and this is our first episode from the Sunrise Command way up here in the Northeast, and where we'll be here for the next several months. And always enjoy coming here because I do a lot of fishing and a lot of other things, and I don't really pay as much attention as I should to the channel. But here I am. Welcome back, proud weirdos. You know who you are. If you're new to the channel, it won't make any sense to you because this is an X3D channel. That means you'll be seeing two images side by side. And you need to learn the X3D viewing technique. Super easy. It's down below. Just click, go to the tutorial. You'll have it in a couple of minutes. Most people do. Anyway, we're doing and showing a couple of things that we don't normally deal with. And we have some really cool finds from this past week. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's start out with a little bit of eye candy. This is something a colleague of mine, William Turner, creates in a software program that does stereographic flame fractals. Now you can look that up on Facebook and see all kinds of fantastic creations. And this is nothing but fantasy, but it's a lot of fun to look at. And you know, this isn't our regular bailiwick. We don't do UFOs much around here, but this is a shot by Laird Kevin G. Curley. He lives over in Scotland. He's actually a wonderful photographer. He's on Facebook and he publishes a lot of fantastic images. But I have tried to contact him several times for provenance on this. Did he take the picture? Does he know who did? Time and date? Things like that, and absolutely no response. So take this with a grain of salt. There's no provenance on it, and nevertheless, it's a pretty compelling image. Here's a terrific find by Benjamin Waite, who shared this with me just the other day. He found it on Google Mars. It's an MRO image, and it's considerably zoomed in, and there are the coordinates there right on the picture. I tried like the dickens to make it work and find it, and I could not. But I have no reason to doubt that it is there. And perhaps some of you will have better luck with those coordinates than I did and keep me up to speed on this. Anyway, let's zoom in a little bit, have a closer look. I think you'll agree that this is clearly above the surface of the chasm. You can see the shadow, and you can see a number of other details. For example, the Google Mars measurements indicate that this platform or bridge, whatever it might be, is 62 feet long and 15 feet across. And perhaps you've already noticed that the left side of the bridge appears to go into an opening in the side of the cliff. And of course, as you look around this image, there are any number of anomalous objects surrounding it. This is an interesting one I ran across the other day in Nev's GMAC of Curiosity 3415. At first, you might think this is just a stone that's been scooped out by wind and sand. But when you look a little more closely, you can see that it's loaded with non-fractal angles. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5, maybe 6 clear 90-degree angles. It's got that beautifully symmetrical lip running around the outside, and it appears to have been like a gutter or downspout or something that directed liquid. But because of the non-fractal math that is present, this is definitely an artifact. Now we come to one which might pose a bit of a problem if you're new to X3D. For those of you who have been with me a while, you more advanced viewers, this one will test your abilities just a little bit. It's that jumble of rocks there inside the box. Let me first draw your attention to the area inside the box, and you can see on the right side the long rectangular lid with 90-degree angles and that other squarish rectangular piece with carving on top of it. And in the front of that lid, what appears to be vents opening up, and then look at the rest of the stuff in front there. Circles and squares and various appliances and contraptions. And then the nice flat floor to the left of the box. What is that all about? But actually there's a good bit more here. Let's take a look. We also have this cubicle structure to the left. And on the right, a snowflake radial kind of structure. Let your eyes relax into that. It has 5 radial arms with circles on the end. And of course other unusual items all around it. And there in the back, another cubicle structure. We're going to take a closer look at all of these, but bear in mind, we're already at the pixel breakup point. So these images are going to be blurry. And if you're not viewing them in X3D, they won't make any sense to you. So here we go. Here is that cubicle structure that was off to the left. And as you look at it and look around, you can see other right-angled items and other things which are clearly anomalous in nature. I warned you it was going to be blurry, but you know, I think this is important to isolate and point out. How does natural erosion account for 5 perfectly angled radial arms with what appear to be ovals or some kind of circular formations on the end? Wouldn't it be great to have at least the resolution of your cell phone to look at these things? But no, NASA is going to spend tens of millions of dollars on state-of-the-art cameras that give us this. As you let your eyes play over this, you can see that it's totally non-fractal. Cubes and angles. And that one block in the foreground really does appear to have carving on it. Wouldn't it be great to have a clear image, but this is what we get. So now some of you at least will be looking at this image with new eyes. We can see what appears to be a collapsed structure, possibly a bunker, surrounded by structural elements. One of these days, archaeologists are going to have an absolute field day on the surface of Mars. Let's turn our attention now to some late-breaking images from Percy. This formation caught my eye. It's all folded in on itself. Let's have a closer look. This just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not aware of any formations on Earth that fold like this, unless perhaps lava flows. But then how do they end up with those perfectly even edges all the way around? And did you notice this piece in the front? Look at all those right angles. In fact, right there in the center in front, it looks like an inverted cube. Optical illusion, of course, because of the shading, but it's actually an inverted cube. It's not sticking out, it's sticking in. Anyway, this looks like it's made of metal. And speaking of metal, Let's take a look at this next item. In the same GMAC of Percy 369. Well, I've marked it here, but it's only to show you where it is. You can't see it. It's right in front of the wheel, right smack on the edge of the image. Now, to my eyes, this looks exactly like a round piece of metal with a square going right through the center. And these other two pieces also appear to be metallic, as do some of the other pieces in this image. We've found metallic fittings and other things like that are metallic on the surface of Mars before. Like this excellent find by my friend Jimmy Roberts of what appear to be very similar to our own self-locking, floating, high-temp nut plates. If you've been following Mars Anomalies for any time at all, you know that we have found countless pyramids and also capstones, or what are called pyramidions. In ancient Egypt, they were called Ben stones. Here's one that Andrew Lane shared with us just this past week. And here we have the classic pyramidion or capstone shape. And this one appears to have, well, windows at the bottom. I'm sure there's more of it that's buried that they're not really able to see at this point, but let's move in a little bit and get blurry. Despite the blurriness, we can see nice clean lines and non-fractal angles, which label this as an artifact. Let's take a look at a few more that we've discovered over the years, and I'm just going to let them play and have a look. We'll wrap things up today with an intriguing find by Rami Bar Ilan, and he's calling this a disc. And obviously it is a disc, or we can assume that it is based on what we're seeing, but what it actually is, we don't know. UFO, a carving, a fossil, and what are those little openings that we find in the front? This is a good one, and Rami always leaves us scratching our heads. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes of your valuable time with me today. I appreciate it. And if you saw something you liked, consider clicking that thumbs up. It sure does help the old algorithms here. If you've got something that you'd like me to take a look at, use the email address down below. I'm trying to catch up with everybody, but I promise you I will look at it eventually. So to all you proud weirdos out there, you know who you are. Stay safe and stay weird. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. Be well.